You know what? I am actually utterly convinced that Victor Lindelof is only called the Iceman because he freezes every time he's asked to do his fucking job. I cannot believe he is still at the club. And he is one of the few things that we need to discuss in this video, because everything that's going wrong with Manchester United right now has been a build-up of problems over several years, and now we're seeing how bad it can actually be. If we look at the goals we conceded against Crystal Palace and Galatasaray, Lindelof is at fault for a lot of them. Any big club in the top 6 wouldn't have given Victor Lindelof any more than 2 seasons, because he is not a top 6 Premier League centre-back. He's slow, he's weak, he's not good in the air, he cannot progress the ball, he's terrible at breaking lines. But the problem is, he will pull out one over-the-top 60-yard pass a season, get an assist, and he'll be labelled as good on the ball. He isn't good on the ball, he can't break lines at all. Any top 6 centre-back right now at a big club, whether that it's Saliba, Lissandro, Varane, who else have we got? We've got Gabriel, Van Dijk. They can all break lines, they can all do diagonals, they can all do over-the-tops. Lindelof can't do any of that. And not only is he just a frail of a man, he's allergic to defending. He shits his pants any time an athletic defender comes within 10 yards of him. Now, if we talk about athletic football players, just on the basis of what I was saying on there, Lindelof, Manchester United have one of the most unathletic squads I have ever seen. Okay, we used to have players like Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, Roy Keane, Wayne Rooney, athletic players who could get up and down the pitch. They're powerful runners, they've got a very good vertical leap, good in the air, they're strong, they can hold off players with their core body strength. Outside of Rashford, Diogo Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, I'm struggling to think of more people here who are athletic in the Manchester United squad. Scott McTominay is athletic to some extent, apart from the fact that he is quite slow. When you don't have an athletic squad playing in the Premier League, it doesn't make any sense. The league is focused on having powerful football players, big runners, okay? United don't have that. We've got a guy playing in midfield with a heart condition. He can barely move. Casemiro has lost his legs entirely this season. He's a completely different player. And that comes with age, and it comes from overworking players. And when you have a poor squad that isn't athletic, and you actually can't even rotate players because our bench option is just academy players or players who aren't good enough, how is Ten Hag expected to rotate and get any sort of prime energy out of these players? Every single game that Manchester United have played this season, we have been overrun in midfield. Happened on the first game of the season against Wolves. We have players like Nunez, Acuna, absolutely dominating our midfield of Casemiro and Eriksen. When your midfield is getting bypassed that easily against people who can just run better than you, it doesn't matter how good of a football player you are nowadays in the Premier League. If you don't have players that are strong and physically demanding, like players like Van Dijk, Kevin De Bruyne, Marcus Rashford, Saka, Saliba, these are players with elite biomechanics and their bodies can put through a lot of pain. You are just going to be dominated. And on top of that, you've got a team of players who aren't even that very good at football. So if you have a squad that isn't that athletic, you want to hope at least by at some minimum they can keep the ball. They can pass the ball very well. They're very good at the fundamentals of being a quality football player. We can't do it. I don't know if it's being instructed to... I am going to pick on Casemiro here because I don't know if he's being instructed to do this from Erik Ten Hag. I don't know if Casemiro is just doing this just to do it. Every time, especially in that Galatasaray game, when he received the ball, it was an instant pass. It was an instant pass over the top. It was an instant no-look pass. When he does it without looking, it infuriates me. Now, I know some people may comment on the video and they will say, well, him doing that gave us a goal. Yes. Yes, we did score a goal. We played in an over-the-top first-time pass to Rashford. Rashford crossed it, scored to Hodgson. Okay, that was a fantastic goal. And it was great to see Rashford putting in that cross. It was great to see Hodgson heading that ball into the back of the net like a proper centre-forward, which you haven't had. But the overall pass from Casemiro, how many times is that going to come off in a game? Because he probably done it, 10, 15, 20 times? And once we scored a goal. How many assists has he had this season? Not many at all. And he's playing like that every game. Now, what happens when you play like that every game? If you're 6, the person who's supposed to dictate play, screen the back 4, and progress the ball, is constantly playing first-time no-look passes in hope it will reach an attacking player. Just in hope, 9 times out of 10, even more than 9 times out of 10, you're just turning over the ball to the opposition. If we're constantly giving the ball away, we're constantly giving ourselves a weaker chance of progressing the ball close to the goal to score a goal. because it's easier to score a goal the closer you are to the opponent's box. Now, if we're constantly giving the ball away to the opposition, and we have a team who aren't very athletic, who aren't very fit, we just get dominated. Now, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we had a big problem with Bruno Fernandes, where everyone called it hero ball, they were calling it hoof ball, where every time he received the ball, he was playing outlandish passes. Like, he was playing no-look passes, he was playing first-time passes, in hope it would reach an attacking player. Now, for a little bit, that was fine, but it was clearly evident that it wasn't going to be sustainable. Now, a lot of fans got on Bruno's back for that, and they still are on his back for that, even though he doesn't really play like that anymore. Ten has completely changed him. But Casemiro is now doing exactly the same thing that Bruno Fernandes was doing, with way less output. Bruno was hitting like 30 goals and assists whilst doing that, which is somewhat, to an extent, what you'd expect your number 10 to be doing. But you do not expect your fucking number 6 to be doing that, do you? A lot of people are focusing on Ten Hag. Are they Ten Hag out? Do they want Ten Hag to be set? I think it is early doors, but I think the common sense approach is that if Ten Hag does not make it out of the Champions League group, inevitably he will be sacked, because that's not good enough for any Manchester United manager, especially in this current era, especially with how much money he's actually spent. And I saw Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes saying on BT Sport after the game that these players are like leopards. The leopards don't change their spots. They'll throw any manager under the bus. These are his players. These are players he's signed. Like, we don't have Pogba and De Gea and Martial lacing their boots up anymore. Most of these players are players that Ten Hag has signed. He needs a serious director of football to come in, because they're not good enough. John Murtough, Richard Arnold, whoever's in charge of the football processes, I don't know who it isn't fucking working. He spent a lot of money, and he spent a lot of money on a few duds, okay? Anthony isn't good enough. He just isn't good enough. Doesn't look like he's ever going to be good enough. Isn't physically strong enough for the league. I'll admit we're much better with him in the team since he's been out of it. That's for sure. And I've always said that I would start him because, I mean, who else do we have? My only other pet peeve with Ten Hag at the moment is his in-game decisions. He makes subs. He doesn't even make the subs. And if he does make the subs, he makes them too late. And the time he does make them early, they're not the right players. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it was the 80th minute, we were chasing a goal. He brought on Anthony, who hasn't played in weeks, barely ever scores. And Martial had a good appearance the other week. Okay, I don't particularly rate Martial, but he was there, he was match fit. You could have just brung him on. It didn't make any sense. And a lot of the decisions Ten Hag does make, like even from his starting team, like players can not perform, like Victor Lindelof, he won't be replaced. Harry Maguire had an amazing game against Crystal Palace at home in the Premier League. It was almost like the prime Harry Maguire we saw playing for England and playing for United under Ollie, where he dictated the entire game. He was incredible in possession, and he was decent in the defensive aspect, and he was even more better because Amrabat and Varane were playing with him, so they could cover for him, and Maguire could act as the aggressor. He could carry the ball into midfield, he could progress play through the lines, he was playing out great diagonal balls to the wingers. More so, Amrabat's playing as the left back, when he clearly isn't an inverted left back. I don't even think our players even know he's an inverted left back. I wholeheartedly expect when Kobbie Mainoo is back from injury and he's fully fit, they'll both be playing in midfield. Because the way Casemiro is playing, it isn't good enough, it isn't sustainable. Eriksen can't play because he's just physically cooked. Unless we're playing a bottom half team at home, I don't want to see Eriksen in the starting 11. Like, I know this video has been largely negative, but there isn't really much positive to speak about Manchester United at the moment. If you did like the video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I haven't made a video in a while. I've been very busy outside of YouTube and at work. But don't forget to follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all those other places. Alright, thanks guys. See ya.